countries, in different time zones, in different continents, we extend you a very hearty welcome. Yet another very, very powerful webinar. Every day we all meet in the evening, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And today, ladies and gentlemen, people, those are in Canada, those are in United States, those are in Latin America. Early morning, you all are there. And once we move from there all the way and we come to Europe, you all have enjoyed your lunch and post lunch before you go for your evening tea and coffee. We are right over here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a very distinguished guest, Mr. Divesh Bathija. He is the co-founder UnMath School, and he is joining. He is the resource person. He is the distinguished guest this evening. And after him, you will be having 5 children, 5 kids, five, women empowerment, and they will share their vision with you. So what is the purpose of education? How to make education relevant? And what all we are doing in education system today is 190th. That means 190. That webinar which comes over here during this pandemic and coronavirus, the problems will keep coming in life, difficulties will keep coming in life, but we got to find the solutions in life. And that's something is, I think, mathematics we got to understand, spreading the language of mathematics. Let me share a couple of slides before I hand you over to today's guest. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know that since 1994, International Chamber for Service Industry in your service is getting the non-resident Indian from the world over together. And initially it started with Punjabi Parvasi Divas. And in 2003, then the Honorable Prime Minister of India, late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he gave the vision of Bharatiya Parvasi Divas. And from 2003 onward, it started. During this pandemic, we are focusing on education, how to make education relevant. And from world over, the people, those are joining us. As I made a mention, hearty welcome to people from Canada, Latin America, United States, Europe, Central Asia, when I come to Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, coming to South Asia, we come to Afghanistan, we come to Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nepal, and from there we take you to ASEAN, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, Vietnam, all the beautiful countries over there. Going to Middle East, we take and we get the people every evening from Saudi Arabia, from Doha, Qatar, from Oman, from Abu Dhabi, from Sharjah, from Dubai, and a couple of other countries, Kuwait also. So we extend a very hearty welcome to all of you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's discuss, because during this pandemic, the education is deeply, deeply affected. So we all got to empower every youth, every teacher the best possible way. Now over here, when I'm talking about from India, we always believe Vasudev Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is one family. And when we talk about one family, that is global education, collaboration, all of us together in that journey. Heartiest congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and along with him, the Honorable Education Minister, Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji, and all the stakeholders, those are directly, indirectly associated with the education system in India, school education, higher education, technical education, vocational education. When we talk about the pedagogy, when you talk about andragogy, when you talk about skills and competencies, you talk about coding coming from the sixth standard. Wow, what a beautiful journey which we are going to have in Indian education system. Children can have the subjects of their own choice. The science student can take music, and commerce students can take fashion designing, textile designing, interior designing, and whatsoever you can think of. Can you imagine such a wonderful education ecosystem? During this pandemic, one more research which we have got from the world over, almost about 149 countries inputs which we have got from our chamber resources and our research team, they say the next problem world over is going to be on the water sharing. That means water saving strategy, the water crisis. The consumable, drinkable water is going to be a great acute shortage world over. So, ladies and gentlemen, at present, children, when you are at home, the parents, we would make a request to you, teach them how to save every drop of the water. And ladies and gentlemen, girls play a very important role in our society. Whether they are daughter, they are mother, they are wife, they are relative, whatsoever it is, when you are going to educate a girl child, you're educating subsequent many generations. And women empowerment is very important. That's why every evening we get 5 girls and they share their vision. What is the purpose of education? How to get the dream project of education? Your technology role in education. A couple of things are there, they'll share with you. Now, from morning 9 o'clock till evening 9 o'clock, 12 hours, our chamber is in the service for all of you. That is International Chamber for Service Industry. Should you need any kind of a hand holding, we are there for you. World over, wherever you are, we are there, and just we will extend you the hand. This is just to share with all of you. Please pass on the message to others also. The program which used to take place at 7 o'clock now has been shifted to 5 p.m. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the YouTube. If you go to ICSI, if you go to Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page, this program is coming live, which you can witness, you can see. And this program is going to be telecast, and people are watching world over. And I do not know, world over, people prefer to come live on directly the YouTube instead of coming on the webinar. Now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's all dedicated to the YES program, youth empowerment skills, youth empowerment strategies. And coming Friday, tomorrow evening, 5 p.m., you will be talking about Buddha's philosophy, Buddha's teaching, as far as the Buddha's relevance in education system is concerned. And thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday, we will take you to Boston, we will take you to Balur we will take you to New York, and a couple of other places where we talk about, remember 11th of September 1893, 127 years back, when Swami Vivekananda ji made a mention at Chicago, sisters and brothers of America. And that was the program from Swami Vivekananda ji. That's what we bring to you and we share with all of you. That's on Saturday evening. Saturday's second program. Saturday, you've got 2 programs. This is the second program. We got to think about your health and wellness. I would tell everybody world over, wherever you are, this Saturday is a very special program on the popular demand from the world over, where we have been told lots of people are having a problem of rheumatic arthritis. There is a swelling in their body, there is a swelling in their hands, their fingers, and their body joints. They are getting bent, and that is coming untimely. They've got a lot of pain in that. So arthritis, rheumatic arthritis, swelling, everything related to joint pain, we are going to talk with all of you, with the experts, and they will be coming from 6:15 to 7 p.m. Every time we bring a new theme. We have taken for the children earlier the spondylitis. We have also talked about eyes training, because nowadays lots is happening on the computer. Now, this is again something very interesting. Sunday morning, we take you to California. We go to the Woodbury University all the way to the Burbank. Professor Satyendra Zaman, he talks to us on Srimad Bhagavad Gita and all the principal Upanishad what we have got. What is the relevance of ancient Indian Vedas and history and historical perspective in today's education system? That is on Sunday morning at 9:30. And then Sunday evening, 3 p.m., we go to the ASEAN 650 million population. And where from we have got the focus between India and the ASEAN with regard to business, with regard to education, skills, tourism, research, innovation, wellness, micro, small, and medium enterprise. And this is the last program on Sunday evening, where we talk about empowering the micro, small, and medium enterprise. Children, those are interested to do startup, those are interested to go for stand-up, those are interested to become entrepreneur. So Colonel Anil Kumar Pokhriyal, the CEO of the Sector Skill Council under the aegis of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, management and entrepreneurship. And basically, over here, we talk about through this particular skill council, which gives you the professional inputs. And children, those are interested to start their own business, you get everything related to entrepreneurship. So this is what we have got on Sunday evening, the last program. Now, this is the complete canvas which I have discussed with all of you. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget this Saturday, that is on 3rd of October. Today is first, second, third, 3rd of October 2020. That is on Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Come live on the YouTube. Join. You're going to have a panel discussion from Canada, United States, Latin America, Europe, where we are going to talk about the best policies and the best education practices in the higher education. Those of us, those are in this program today, and those otherwise, pass on the message to all your friends. Everybody, you can see it live on the YouTube. And this is on 5th of October from morning 9:30 till evening 4:30, because the United Nations, they are celebrating on 5th of October World Teachers Day. So we will come live once again on the YouTube. Come on Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page and you can enjoy, you can be a part of it. This is the research which we have carried out from 25th of March till now. And that is basically the golden triangle of the world is the B2B, that is back to the basics of life, sustainable development, what we have to talk, ladies and gentlemen. And over here, we would like to request you, cater to your basic organic food, take care of your health, and the education is going to be now altogether different. It will not get back to the mode of January and February. And when we talk about education, it's a learn and earn. Do a part-time job also with your education. So whatever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's make education relevant for the entire universe. So this particular program is a global confluence of educators, motivators, technocrats, counselors, wellness experts, corporate, government administrators, and decision makers. All of us, we are together in this journey. Should you wish to be a panelist or send any suggestion, email is listed over here, innovation@ICSI.asia, and WhatsApp. These are the celebrities of this evening. 5 of them, those are joining us this evening. After our main speaker, distinguished speaker, he will share his vision with us on making education relevant. These 5 children of ours, under the women empowerment, they will talk. We have got Aditi, we have got Kavala, we have got Eri, we have got Akanksha, and we have got Nupur. They will talk. What's the purpose of education? Role of technology in today's education. What does today's youth want? How to create your dream career and how to make education relevant to our day-to-day life and our living what we have got. This entire canvas and this program, this is with Colonel K.C. Manon. He's the regional head, regional advisor who takes care of. His mobile number is listed here. His email is also listed here. We are thankful to him. Every evening he gets the 5 stars. And these are the children, those come, they share the vision, 1.5 minutes. They will speak, they will share their vision with all of us extempore. They will have their ideas and they will talk to us. With this, ladies and gentlemen, let me roll to today's distinguished guest, Mr. Divesh Bathija. He is the co-founder UnMath School. Now, Mr. Divesh is a name known in the education sphere for his contribution in the field of mathematics. He introduced the subconscious method of learning mathematics and relating every concept to daily life activities. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 parts. One is conscious mind, one is subconscious mind. I will also get myself educated this evening onto that. Besides being a curator, ambassador, master trainer, and creative educator, he's the co-founder of UnMath School. UnMath School is a platform where the learners between the age group of 10 to 18 are introduced to the new era of mathematics through an aligned virtual discussion on the subconscious language of mathematics, which we tend to use in our daily lives. Mr. Divesh, I would like to put in a little humorous way that I'm also 18 years old, because I want to learn this evening on your platform. Although biologically I might be touching 70 years, but I'm your student this evening and I come in the last bracket, that is of 18 years of age. Now, UnMath primary
Wonderful.
is to break the age-old myth behind this subject and acknowledge its relevance in our daily lives. Now, UnMath School has created or catered more than 150 schools. Wow, that's great. UnMath School has catered more than 150 schools and presently operating in India, United Arab Emirates, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Singapore, and USA. Wow, Mr. Divesh, it's wonderful, wonderful. What a pleasure to know. Now, before I hand you over to Mr. Divesh, I very strongly believe he's going to talk about mathematics. I don't know what relevance mathematics has got with the music, but at least one relevance is there. Both starts with alphabet M. M is for the music and M is for mathematics. I'm very fond of music. I all the time believe music, life should be musical. Life should be amusing. You should listen to music, you should sing, you should dance, whatsoever can be done. At the age of 70, my child comes out of me all the time because I enjoy music. While having my lunch, my dinner, my breakfast, whatsoever, my music is on. Always positive music, always entertaining music, always energetic music, always romantic and patriotic music, no sad songs. I don't want to listen to those songs which basically brings a lot of sadness in your life. Music is to be enjoyed. And let's find out तानसेन ने कुछ तो किया होगा कि राग दीपक, क्या राग था दीपक, कि कैसे दिए जले होंगे. That's also we talk over here, ladies and gentlemen. So, before I hand you over to Mr. Divesh, here is a contribution from our chamber to the whole world, what we have developed during the coronavirus. I'll take 2 minutes and thereafter we go to Mr. Divesh. Oh, that is going forward. Let me bring it back and play it for all of you.
विश्व गुरु बनना है भारत, भारत का सम्मान करो. विश्व गुरु बनना है भारत, भारत का सम्मान करो. शिक्षा के पथ पे आगे बढ़कर, शिक्षा के पथ पे आगे बढ़कर सबका ही कल्याण करो. भारत का सम्मान करो, भारत का सम्मान करो. आर्यभट्ट से उज्जवल शिक्षक पूर्ण जगत में छा जाओ. आर्यभट्ट से उज्जवल शिक्षक पूर्ण जगत में छा जाओ. श्रेष्ठ वर्ग के तारे बनकर अपना नाम भी चमकाओ. विश्व गुरु बनना है भारत, भारत का सम्मान करो. विश्व गुरु बनना है भारत, भारत शिक्षा के पथ पे आगे बढ़कर, शिक्षा के पथ पे आगे बढ़कर सबका ही कल्याण करो। शंखनाद से सकल जगत में गौरवमय गुणगान करो। गगन कल्पना एपीजे कलाम और भगत सिंह बन जाओ। साहस भर के झांसी जैसा जीवन का बलिदान करो। गगन कल्पना एपीजे कलाम और भगत सिंह बन जाओ। साहस भर के झांसी जैसा जीवन का बलिदान करो। विश्व गुरु बनना है भारत, भारत का सम्मान करो। विश्व गुरु बनना है भारत, भारत का सम्मान करो। भारत का सम्मान करो, भारत का सम्मान करो, भारत का सम्मान करो, भारत का सम्मान करो।
So, ladies and gentlemen, M stands for music and M stands for mathematics. And when I talk about mathematics, we did talk about Mr. Divesh in our song regarding Aryabhat. So, somewhere, some mathematics was related to that. With these words, we extend a very hearty welcome to Mr. Divesh, and I would request him to kindly take on today and share his vision and his ideas. And I'm so grateful that my very dear younger brother, like a younger brother, and my son, whom I adore a lot, Mr. Arpit, he introduced us to each other from Dubai. So it's a pleasure to have you with us. And I found a secret that you are connected with 150 schools. So now I think our chamber should reach out all those 150 schools wherever they are, and let's connect, because my vision is before we go to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, we should have 1 million youth and educator as a part of this particular campaign and program, making education relevant. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, hearty welcome to Mr. Divesh Bathija.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a very warm welcome. And I'm really thankful and really pleased to be on this platform. I just wanted to, say a few words, like the whole intention, like making education relevant. I think the tagline itself speaks a lot for itself. We have seen education being imparted to us from so many years. In my personal opinion, we were not learning, we were not exploring, we were meant to learn, we weren't innovating. My whole ideology behind this was with a short story that I would like to share with everyone. This story was the main story which actually inspired me and made me think that we need to do something in an education space. Back then in the day, almost 10 years back, I got an opportunity to study in UK. When I went there, there was this one professor who walked into a classroom on a Tuesday morning, and he very nicely, mentioned one statement which made me extremely very happy. Now, every time when I have any kind of a discussion with children, which used to happen in the offline space, the pre-COVID era is what I like to call it. Usually, when I ask them that what he must have said, most of the answers that I get from them is that, like, maybe you Indians are very smart in math, or I've performed very good in my grades. But no, he did not say that. He actually said something which made me very happy. And let me give you a small background that why it would make me a little happy. Let's say hypothetically, I'm a typical student who was not very interested to attend the class in the morning at 8 o'clock. And now my professor comes in and says something to me, which makes me very happy. As an Asian student, the only statement that makes me extremely excited is this chapter is not going to come in the exam. And I am like, okay, this is exactly what I need to do. I need to pack my bag and go back to my room, and I need to have a good sleep because this is not going to come in my exam. I don't need to worry about it at all. Now, with that, I immediately had a friend of mine who was from Germany. I was in a classroom, small classroom of about 20 kids, and I was the only Asian in that. He mentioned that if I skip this chapter, I may skip the entire semester. So I was a little taken aback, and I said, "We Indians are smart. We study before the exams, and we instead of studying, we actually learn how to predict what's going to come in the exams." So if you look at math after a math paper, when a child comes out and he says today's paper was good, I remember my school days. If I would ask my friends how did the paper go, they would always tell me this question was from this textbook. This question had come from revision sheet. This textbook was a textual question. Nobody comes and tells me that, okay, you know what, I tried a new approach to do this entire sum. No, I was not scared because we have a very good approach the entire time. So I decided that I'm going to flip the textbook and prove him wrong. Now, when I was trying to flip the textbook, that was the one chapter which I was about to miss that day. The second chapter, all important diagrams and every important definition, it had a small asterisk mark at the bottom of it. It said, as explained in chapter one. And I said, as explained in chapter two. As explained in chapter three. Well, the same story. Everything as explained in chapter one. And the same continued up to chapter number five. And chapter number six was the executive summary, and the book got over. That day, I sat down and I realized that is it only me that the minute I heard this chapter is not going to come in the exam, I was about to leave. I almost stood up from my seat. I did not see any other student in the classroom who even thought in that direction. They, in fact, they didn't care whether it would come in the exam. So that was like a learning point for me. So I thought that it would be better that at least if I get a simple understanding that the way I've been approaching math in general, what could have gone wrong? Like, what could have gone wrong in overall, all my learning. So I came back to India with a sole intention that, okay, can I do something about this? I asked a lot of my friends, and everyone said that if a chapter was not going to come in the exam, we have a famous four-letter word in our Indian education system, and we call that OMIT. This chapter is omitted because it is not going to come in the exam. And I said, there we are. We are not studying from an exam perspective. We are not studying to learn or to explore anything. I don't remember ever that why am I. So I have a textbook. I have got to read content for it, but I never realized that why am I doing percentage? Why am I even doing fractions in the first place? I know it exists because it's there in the textbook. So that is where my curiosity rose. I said, we need to do something about it. I can take the plunge now. A lot of people were wondering that, I've studied finance and I've come back and I want to get into teaching. I want to do something. So I decided that for the next 4 years, I'm only going to work with students because I will need to know at the grassroots level where exactly the problem exists. I was in school, but there's a gap of almost 7 to 8 years now. So I need to know where do these children actually face trouble. After a comprehensive research, I saw every child was absolutely scared of the subject of mathematics. Most importantly, my wife, even she was extremely scared of math all throughout her life. And I found out only one reason behind everything, and that was that person who was teaching mathematics played the biggest role. It's not about the subject, it's the way people who's actually presenting it. So I realized that teachers make the math subject a little more complicated. They try their level best to simplify it, but somehow that approach goes that we need to solve sums. There are children say a plus b the whole square. Why am I going to even use that in my life? And I just take them to a table and say, look, this is where you are going to use all your equations. In any country, in every city, every traffic signal is actually going to run based on all algebraic equations you must have ever done or practiced in your entire life. Now, my perception of this, of course, did not develop over a period of weeks or months. It took me years to develop this research. We tried to make mathematics more of a language. Now, with that as an example, as you all heard in the beginning, that we've been operating in different countries. I had a unique experience in one of our neighbor countries in Sri Lanka. We had a classroom of about 100 aspiring teachers for mathematics in a session that was organized by the Department of Education in Sri Lanka. And when I was invited there, the 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 institution head told me that out of these 100, 98 teachers do not speak in English. They speak in Sinhalese, the local language. And two of them can speak in English. And I said, I don't have a problem because we're going to speak the language of mathematics. We had a session for 3 hours. And at the end of it, I don't think any teacher actually faced any trouble in interpreting it because we spoke the language of numbers. Our languages were different in terms of sentences, but our end goal of actually making them realize that how math could be treated in an absolutely different manner was on a different tangent altogether. Those two teachers, only for the medium of translation, when they did, every other teacher was equally occupied, equally engaged. And after the session got over, they all could communicate with me in whatever way they could, but we understood each other. That was a big myth that actually broke amongst everyone, that if you do not know the language, but you know math, well, there you are, you can get connected. So I think that's one experience which I feel like, we all need to start exploring. Trust me, it's not about writing an equation or getting a right answer. It's about every single decision. Like for example, even if I look, I mean, I was hearing the presentation at the start of this whole program. I saw water conservation. I mean, I was amazed with the amount of math that can actually go in this entire process. If you have children at home, and if a child has to identify the volume of a tap that is leaking, at what rate that water drop is actually falling, and what is the amount of water that can be saved if we call the plumber, well, there you've taught the child math. You've taught them how to think in a different manner. And unlike a textbook question, they've actually seen and solved a real life situation. This entire pandemic that we see was a question that came outside the textbook, and nobody was prepared for it. If I put it across in a language perspective, but what did we do? We are the best kind of creatures, that is human beings, who always come up with various ways. We started getting up suits, we started getting up sanitizers, we started getting up masks to save ourselves. We found solutions. There was a problem, we found solutions. It's been 6 months in our country, things have improved so much compared to a lot more before in terms of things opening up. I'm sure the number of cases are still on the rise, but this is where the awareness of math has to go. For all those who are listening this today, and for all those who are worrying about the fact the number of cases have risen so much in India, have you ever calculated the number of tests that have been done from the day COVID started till the day that we actually have? And then if you compare the amount, the ratio at which those tests are actually turning out to be positive, you will identify that they're more or less same. So to make it simple for all the listeners, on day one, there were 100 tests done, and there were four people that were found, I mean, who were found as positive. So there roughly, I'm talking only in examples perspective. So you had about 4% of them who actually tested positive. Today, at the same time, we have about 1 lakh people who are actually getting tested on a daily basis. And if you multiply that by about 4.5 or 5,000 tests, you just see that from 4 to 4,000, the number is down. You just see the base is also down. So that's another example of how math can be seen almost everywhere around us. The entire discussion today, when our moderator, Mr. Gulshan, Dr. Gulshan sir, actually discussed today, he used the first line he used was math, wherein he pointed out that timelines in different countries. Well, that's again math. It's all calculated with plus, minus. You have a basic algorithm that works a few hours behind. This was done so that we all can, relate and make sure that we all are available in all the countries in a specific time zone. So that makes things a little more easier. Otherwise, we all would have been confused. So again, keeping in mind what we really want to do in math, our perspective of math is not to show how to solve a sum. Our perspective is should be in our education, making it relevant, that how does a child look at math when the IPL is going on? We have a cricket match, we have a huge league coming up, we have, you have anything that is around you, you have entirely everything is inspired by math, right from a decision that how long will you reach your school, which someday the things will open up and you will head back to school. You will need to identify time. The school bus that you hop on to, the kind of calculation that they have to do, you have no idea. You feel a school bus driver comes in, picks you and goes, but imagine the calculation he has to do, which is the right path, that is the shortest route to save as much fuel as he can, to cover as much distance as he can, and make sure that his entire bus is occupied. So this is also a green initiative. We want to make sure that we don't have too many buses and lesser students flying on the road. So we have one bus which will take the right amount of route, and making sure that the person who is starting from the very first point is technically spending more time. That's again a concept, but we have to factor in those things. If we want to carpool, if we want to save our Mother Earth, we've got to do all these initiatives. So anything and everything that you talk about today, you discuss the simplest things that you want to do. You decide to go to a movie theater, which I'm very hopeful that will happen very soon in India as well, and in the other countries, I'm sure things have started getting to normal. You decide everything at what time is the show, what time do you need to leave from your house, how do you need to reach there, what is the kind of movie that you want to select, your mobile phones that you're actually using. You decide that what kind of a phone I have to use, what will be actually my purpose. Everything that you explore, you make decisions. These are calculated decisions. You don't use them as a very specific, you don't sit down and write down, look, this is the percentage, look, this is my ratio. You don't do that. But when you cook food, when you even make the most basic things, you prepare tea to have every day in the evening, or for that matter, coffee. It's a simple concept. If you're making coffee for three people, and you're making coffee for 10 people, your ratio will still remain the same. I'm not saying because of 10 mugs your ratio is going to grow, but it is going to grow in proportion to the amount of water that you're actually going to boil. So anything and everything that you see around you is actually driven by math. And even if you don't like the subject, believe me, it's not because you're not capable for it. It's because you have never been exposed to the relevance. Coming back to the main topic of the subject, the purpose of our entire math subject is to give children that, okay, there is a problem, there is a solution, you need to find out which is the best solution you can actually get. You talk about, I remember an amazing experience in one school in Ahmedabad. I went there. A few children were like, sir, all these points are well taken, but let's be very honest out here. Why do I even need to use sine theta, cos theta? I mean, that's ridiculous for us. We are in grade 9. We are not going to be engineers. And I said, that's a good question. Why don't you do one thing? I got the entire class. I said, go and identify every security camera in your school campus. Go back to the security room and identify by changing the height and angle of your camera, how many cameras can be removed from your school, and you'll get your answer. After 2 hours of engagement with these children, those 40 kids went to every different possible, existing web camera in the school. They went back to the security guy and they were saying, okay, what if we can move the angle of this particular camera a little bit up, change the angle a little bit, it can cover more distance. And they identified out of 23 cameras, 3 cameras were not required. Now the school saves 3 cameras electricity, 3 cameras worth so much of your electricity, your hard drive storage, everything, all the e-waste is saved. Now you might wonder, three cameras, it's not a very big deal. But when the three cameras is running for the entire day, when you have an entire amount of storage which has to be occupied and your electricity multiplied by the number of schools that we have in the entire country, you will realize that we could have saved a huge amount of energy, and it could have actually resulted in lightening up so many other plants or so many other schools who may be underprivileged at this point of time. So, I mean, it's just a very simple thought, but again, that kind of makes you understand that why do I need trigonometry? It is not only for engineers. I'm not saying that you need to get into derivatives and limits, which of course is more technical as you go in the higher education. But in the school level, whatever concepts you had, I'm pretty sure if you focus on that as per how is it related to your real life, I think that's going to be a lot more easier. Every place, every country that you go, you are going to see the traffic signal system, and the way those traffic signals are actually placed are very different. That's because they know that every junction out there, it's a right hand or a left hand car position. Based on that, which left way or which right way will actually, become an open way. So students need to start exploring this. They need to start identifying it, and we call it a tool in our organization, and we have a lot of fun discussing this, called as math investigation. We make children become math reporters. They identify flaws in different things around them and see how they can rectify that mathematically. That kind of, appeals to a lot of children, and I'm sure all the listeners today, if you are parents or if you are children going to school, whoever, whatever age category you may be, remember one thing: if you can just pick up one object a day in your house and identify the math aspects involved in it and answer a question, imagine if those math concepts would have not been used over there. Your entire perception towards the subject is going to change completely. You will start falling in love with the subject, because for all the women, every shoe that you buy, every perfume that you purchase also has a lot of math in it. For all the boys, for all the electronic gadgets that you use, every single thing has math involved in it. So I'd like to, say there's another interesting initiative which I see picking up a lot these days. I call it green math now, which is very much in sync with what we've seen in the introduction, to conserve energy and to save any kind of wastage that you see around you. I would say imagine you are learning the applications of math while just observing the nature, while observing all your plants and see the way how every plant, every tree, every leaf is so symmetrical in shape. What was the logic of it being symmetrical? Why are those leaves not symmetrical? What would happen if those leaves were symmetrical? We like flowers which are so organized in their petals, but we do not like the flowers which are not organized. What happens inside? How does a honeybee actually live in hexagons when they don't even know how to speak our language, but they know how to use math? Now, this is an amazing nature which, if we observe all of this and we start looking at every minute detail, right from the fact that if you all are in front of your Zoom screens right now, it's the most ideological method of learning math. What angle are you supposed to keep your screen to view this show? And the most important part, we have multiple participants on this show, and every participant has a certain space that is occupied on Zoom. And you may want to change that depending on who's speaking, or you want to see everybody on the meeting. That makes your entire program or your entire thing work so effectively. And every little bit of these softwares that you use, they all have mathematical calculations. So, with that note, I would like to say that how math is a language which you and I are using it every day subconsciously without understanding its impact. But it's time that we start doing this. We start our new education model. We start allowing and encouraging children to the research model. We want them to start identifying what are the formulas that they use. And what is very important, they need to memorize the formula, by heart the formulas. do we get a formula sheet before the exam because we are so scared about the fact that will we be able to score well in the exam? That's not our purpose. That's not our goal. I'm very clear about it. We understand the reality of COVID, that nothing can be pre-planned or nothing can be so well organized from before, wherein we can actually decide that what has to happen. It's very important for us to keep in mind that whatever we do, everything is driven by math, and how can we actually decide that math is a part of our integral session. So I would like to extend a big thank you to Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji for allowing me to speak and share my views on this platform. I'm extremely delighted, and I hope that after listening to this and the minute everyone shuts down their screen, look around, see the first math object, leave your comments on YouTube. It'll definitely encourage us, and we'll know that yes, you all have started spreading the language of mathematics. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Wonderful, wonderful. You have given me a new perspective altogether different. See, we have never taken small, small things into consideration. आपने स्कूल की बातचीत की, 3 cameras की बातचीत की, कितना electricity, and imagine the total number of schools and all that. And children developed their creative thinking and critical thinking and analytical logical thinking also with that, कि कौन से 3 cameras हैं जिनको रिमूव किया जाए, किस एंगल पर लगाया जाए, कैसे किया जाए. I'm just, that's a wonderful, wonderful insight. So everything is useful and everything is meaningful in life. It all depends on how we understand, how we undertake. ये जो 150 schools हैं, institutions हैं, तो आपकी organization इनके साथ कैसे associated है?
So we actually consult the schools to convert them into an UnMath school. So that we try to implement. So usually a school has a math lab, and this math lab is restricted to one room. So what we try to do is we convert the whole school into a math lab, and we identified every nook and corner जहाँ maths कैसे use हुआ, and how can we make it relevant to children again.
Wow, that's lovely. That's lovely. Is there some more insight and thought, like you have given the example of the camera? Can you give
Mhm.
few more examples, quickly, so that children, I want they should put on their thinking cap after Mr. Divesh, this particular session. Like my antenna is on now, and I'm just thinking कि देखो आपने एक एग्जांपल दिया कैमरा का, ऐसा कुछ और चीजें आप किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन को बताना चाहेंगे? एटलीस्ट some analytical thought should start. Can you relate it to some more examples?
Sure, definitely. So, in fact, if we look at this, morning, we were having a discussion with a person who manages brands, and they come up with different brands that you see on a departmental stores. Kellogg's ho gaya, coffee ho gaya, tea ho gaya, whatever you see, and you buy that. He came up with a simple analogy as a branding specialist who creates the packaging of all these products. They have to keep in mind that 20% of the front space of the brand has to give the branding name. It has to be bold enough for them in order to be successful or to be there on the shelves. Now, the logic behind that is, why don't they say 10 centimeters? Why don't they say 5 inches? Is because every product and every box will be of a different size. So it's not practical to determine that with the help of a fixed measurement, and that is the reason why we use percentage. And percentage is very important, and this is a tool which actually justifies that why do you need percentage in the first place. So it's because all the bases are not same. All the boxes will have different packaging styles. Some would be cuboid in nature, while some would be a cube in nature, while some could be a triangular cone in nature. So irrespective of what shape they are, their total surface area should have at least 20% of it given on branding. That is because when a normal human being can stand in a normal shelf, the bandwidth of the eye, with which angle they can actually view, 20% is good enough to capture their attention. And the remaining part is to put in other information or a catchy image. But if the brand name is not up to 20%, it kind of dilutes the brand and you may not recognize which brand is this. Although you're aware of the brand, but from far you will not be able to recognize it. So that's one. And if you make it full box as well, it can scream too loud. But again, there are brands who do that, but at the standard marketing procedure, they do discuss this from that front. Now, that's one of the ideas. Looking at another option, like I said, our IPL running, we have a lot of cricket going on. Everyone's looking at numbers, people are playing games online. Now, let me tell you one thing. Every time we talk about cricket, the entire game is so focused on numbers, right from the rules to the playing 11, to the time, to the angle at which the ball can be bowled when it is a no ball, when the runs. But this one thing, when you ask an any common child that what is the meaning of an average for a player, they will tell you the average very well. They will find that on the internet. They will tell you on every possible source of information to get that. They will tell you in a fraction of a second. But the minute you tell them what is the meaning of it or why, I mean, what does this really imply? So they wouldn't be able to come and explain to you that if I say a cricketer has an average of about 25.34, is basically approximately in every match conceding how many runs approximately does he actually get a wicket. Now, these are two different terminologies, although they are average, but one is for the batsman, one is for the bowler. So for the batsman when he gets out, and for the bowler when he takes a wicket. So it's two opposite things, but yet they're average. Now, why do I need these? When do I need an average, and when do I need to assess the strike rate? Now, if I look at the strike rate of a batsman, I need to understand that every batsman, what if I tell that, I'm playing and Mr. Gulshan G is on the other side of the batting side? I have scored about 20 runs, while Gulshan G has scored about 30 runs. I can't decide who's a better batsman because we don't know how many balls we both have faced. And the minute we do that comparison, it's very important to again use percentage because the number of balls he will face and I will face will never be always same. It could be same, but it'll never always be same. So that's why we need to identify strike rate. So if you pay attention, the relevance of why do I need an average? Why do I need percentage? These are a few examples which can justify to today's children or learners that yes, this is why I actually need it. It's not just because I'm asked in a question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Wonderful. Such a valuable inputs you have given to us. It's a new dimension and it's altogether a new pedagogy. I would say I personally feel today being added up to the entire education ecosystem, what you have given. Small things to be taken into consideration. They go just unnoticed. We don't notice them. We don't devote time on them and we don't take them with that much of depth. It's only a person who has done specialization in that area can give you those valuable inputs. Thank you very much, Diveshi. Now, depending on your time availability now, if you have got 5 minutes, you can listen to these five children, those who have come today. And if you have got some other engagement, then we would like to say thanks, depending on your time availability. Depending on your
Uh,
time availability.
I would have loved to, but I have another engagement
You
at
have
6,
another
so
engagement.
I will have to
Thank you.
unfortunately take your leave.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining this evening. God bless you. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you. Thank you. So very
Thank you.
thanks for
Thank you
coming.
so much.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Most
Okay.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kavala,
Bye-bye.
great evening. Kavala, great evening. Child, let's start with you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. You got to increase your volume a little bit better.
Now am I audible?
Yes, it's better. It's better. You can hold your mic just next to your vocal cords so that we can hear properly.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, please
Yes,
go.
sir. My topic for my topic for today is role of technology in education.
Wow, it's very
Technology is
yes,
yes,
it's
sir.
very interesting. Every child
Technology
is
is
interested. Yes.
technology is something that is easing out our lives. It finds many applications in different fields, and one such field is definitely education. So implementing technology in education is basically a systematic application of relevant technological processes and resources in teaching with the sole purpose of improving students' performance. Nowadays, students are finding the basic education to not that much appealing. So, to break this monotony, the the technological concept of smart class comes into play. It increases the interaction among the students and the teachers in the class and makes the students to think differently. It it inculcates in them the curiosity about the subject and makes the learning a fun. Now, and different methods of teaching, like innovative teaching, includes teaching with the help of AI, like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and chatbots. Chatbots are very useful for the students as they help the students in reviewing the study materials effectively, and it also gives the students a timely reminder for revising in different intervals of time. Technology has also enabled the students to access study materials from different parts of the world, and they can store it on the cloud, which leads to the new concept of cloud computing. But that doesn't mean that technology can completely replace the teachers. Uh, Pairing the teachers with the technology is currently the best method of teaching. At last, I would like to sum up by quoting a few lines from Mr. Bill Gates. Technology is just a tool. In order of getting the kids, educating and motivating them, the teachers are most important. Thank you.
Very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kavala. You were the first to come this evening and you got such an interesting subject that is technology because everybody is interested. Second one to come this evening was Aditi. Child, we extend you a warm welcome. Please come, Aditi.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening, Beta. Good evening. Please go
Yes.
ahead.
So my name is Aditi Sharma, and the topic of today, my topic of today is purpose of education. So,
Purpose of
uh,
education. Okay.
yes,
Why Aditi should go to college? Yes.
yes. So according to me, education is something. Even learning is a kind of education. When a child is born, he learns to walk, he learns to speak. This is also education. Education is something on which our belief system is based. Whether it starts from our middle school, or lower school, or even when the first word come out of a person's mouth. So everything among it is education. And after that comes the subject matter which we are taught in our medical schools or in our education is helps in building a self-esteem and confidence among the people and helps them to make a different perspective about the world. If you're not well educated, you cannot come up with ideas to change the world or have a different perspective about something. The more you learn or the more you get educated, the more you have like, I can change this and I can change that. I have this idea, let's implement it. All these ideas come into your mind. So education is one of the basic things which should have in every country. This is the reason why right to education is one of the basic rights implemented in all the countries. And it may be a matter of disadvantage for our country that it is has only 11% of educational recruitment in schools and colleges, though they are compulsory though education is compulsory till the age of 14. But then also we have only 11% recruitment, which is among the lowest education enrollment in all the countries. So we should look forward to make more education enrollments and help the illiterate people in the villages to try to communicate to them how the importance of education will help in improving their lives. It's always said education is not a duty to be fulfilled, but a responsibility which you should carry on your to make yourself feel good and to make the life of the person you are educating better. And also, I would like to quote a famous quote which says, "A child's brain is not something to be filled, but a fire to be lit." So education kindles this fire, which when the person starts learning on its own and grows elder and elder, it turns into a fire with just a flame, which education creates among us. So I would, at last, I would like to just say that in the modern system of education, we should actually focus on simple moral sciences like how to be good to people, love, justice, and peace and equality among people, because we are studying the basic subjects in the class. But these small little things are generally lacking in the people nowadays. We need to tell people what's the importance of love. Only studying will not have, matter. Moral science, how we should treat people, how we should be in the society where we belong. So these are the things which we should start including in the modern system of education, so that the children from the age of like very similar age have that basic thinking in their mind, and they can just go with it. It's very important for nowadays as the technology, and we are seeing the people's behavior everywhere in news or in the everyday newspaper. So this is one of the most basic things which we should include in our education system.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Aditi.
you.
Thank you. God bless you. The third one to come this evening was Nupo. Yes, Nupo.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, child. Please go ahead.
I Nupur, student of Hatcham, Bangalore, would be speaking on the topic how to make education relevant. So, education is the most powerful means of empowerment. This statement is the most profound statement that is spoken by the educationists all over the world. The statement means an individual, after getting education, it is in a position to lead a meaningful and productive life and is ready to solve and face all the life challenges. In education, the term relevance typically refers to learning experiences that are either directly applicable to his or her personal life, his or her interest or cultural experiences of students, or that are connected in some way to real world issues and contexts. It therefore presupposes that education a person goes through his or her life has a strong connect with real life situation, and he or she acquires the necessary skills to handle and face the life challenge. However, we all know that this is far from the truth. The paradigm of education currently is structured to score marks, better livelihood. It is thus a competition for all of us. Some specific interventions and changes that I would be speaking about to make education relevant are point number one, syllabus should be small and structured in such a way that it has space, progresses, and challenges. It ensures better assimilation and encourages critical thinking. Secondly, teachers in the present context must act as facilitators, guiding students for concept clarity and analytical thinking. Third point, problem solving skills need to become an integral part of education process, as in today's world it is largely driven by a combination of education plus the skills. Fourth point, I would like to say we need to develop suitable algorithms with the help of data analysis and artificial intelligence to determine effective pedagogy, to determine effective pedagogies and identify areas of planning and improvement. Sixth point, I would like to say we should inculcate use hands-on learning and project-based learning in education system when students can handle objects and artifacts and conduct experiments. Their learning is enriched. Last point I would like to say, in education system, we should give real world rewards. That is, when real world rewards are provided to students with huge incentives, and displaying or publishing student work is a great way to get them involved and motivated. Lastly, I would like to say it is time to revisit and redefine education so that it becomes more relevant and important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, child. Very kind of you. These three kids I could see initially when I was going live, they were there. Now, Ari and Akanksha, they came afterwards. Now they both can decide who came first and who takes the lead. Both of you are there. You your choice. Whosoever wants to come. Ari and Akanksha. Out of these two children, I invite both of you. Anybody who wants to take a lead, please go ahead. Yeah, anybody can
Right.
start.
Okay, so shall I start?
Yeah, your choice. You can ask
Yes.
Akanksha.
Yes.
I
I
Yes,
got
you
the
can go
permission.
ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. Whosoever wants.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I am Iti Vyas, and I would be speaking on the topic what does the youth want? What does today's youth want? So, when I first read the sentence, rather than going around and looking over the internet, to what does today's youth want? What are the surveys? What is going on? The research that has happened, rather than doing that, I just asked myself, being a young adult, I asked myself, what do I want? Like, what would I wanted in my school life? So education is like not only what we get in the schools, but what we get in our homes as well. Like, what the parents educate us, and what do they teach us in our growing stages. So the first answer that came to my mind is support. Like support not financially, but in like emotional support. People generally consider support as financial, but I would rather say an emotional support, because today's youth is not mainstream. It is more towards the skill based jobs. They want their skills to be highlighted. They want to develop their own skills. They want to train on those skills. And older generations being not so familiarized with the thought that you can have you can have a job not in a mainstream. So today's youth want some support, support from family, that yes, you can do it, yes, you can develop those skills. If you want a career in music, you can go have a career in music. If you want a career in sports, you can go have a career in sports. And not just by the family, I would rather say the teachers as well, because in schools we are taught, we have taught subjects, we never taught the skills. We've never been, we have subjects like music, but we never focused on that thing. We have been focused on studies, mathematics, English, or science, social science. But rather than that, if we have whole collaboration of all the things like skills, the necessary subjects we want, and other subjects that there are a lot of subjects that the new education policies have included, but we didn't have in our childhood, we didn't have in our school lives. So that would be a great thing. Other than that, as the speaker mentioned, that we should look at a different perspective when we are studying something. When we are studying maths, we are studying something, but this doesn't only apply in the high school when we are in the major career building years of a life, but this applies in our childhood. Like, this reminds me of a teacher of mine who used to teach us in the same way, practical based knowledge. He used to just mentor us rather than feeding us, rather than spoon feeding us the subject. He used to mentor us, guide us towards the subject. But it never really worked out, because the children in our classes never had this mindset, yes, we can study in that way, because they've been taught you have to be spoon fed, you have to learn the thing, you don't have to understand it, you don't have to go through it, you don't have to make it a language. So if children are taught this way, I guess there would be a better future for us. That would
Thank
be
you.
all.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Akanksha, child.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So I am Akanksha Kale. So today my topic is how to create your dream career.
Wow,
So,
very good. You're the last speaker and dream career. Yeah, younger generation. Please go ahead.
so we have all heard that follow your passion is somewhat of a catchphrase these days. Everyone says that it's what you need to do to find fulfilling career. And there's plenty of advices out there for how to make it happen. But does it really mean to find career that makes you happy? Everybody gives these advices that just go for it, but these advices are just a midway. The secret to fulfilling life and career might have to do with finding happiness. And when you find your sole purpose of life, it eventually gives you happiness and satisfaction. Creating your ultimate career may be less about finding your passion and more about cultivating it, cherishing it, and giving it all your best self. Even you're doing something you love, you might have to make certain sacrifices to achieve your dream career. All we need is the willingness to work for it and never giving up. Also, our dream career is the career we opt to work hardest for. Despite being our passion, we work for it earnestly, and it does not matter shelter, and it does not matter how much we score. How much we score is the 100 benchmark or a 5-digit salary, but what we score comes through genuine guts and sincerity. And perhaps the rule, we don't care whether it's a Monday or it's a Sunday. When it comes to work, as when it comes to work for it, we work for it rather than providing. We work for it as a mainstream work, and we work like a lunatic for it, rather than providing a sidestep. So to get or to perceive our soul dream career, us. It's solely us pushing ourselves for it, for pursuing it.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Beta. Thank you very much. God bless you. It was wonderful to hear all five of you. Such a wonderful ideas you all have given. God bless all of you. Enjoy your studies, enjoy your college, enjoy your institution wherever you are. And you all should have a very bright, wonderful, meaningful tomorrow and future. God bless your teachers. God bless your principal. God bless India. Thank you very much. And I'm thankful to Colonel Manon also to get all of you. See you all tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. Thank you very much.